achieving hope and building the future. Thanks and appreciation and respect to all workers of Egypt on this special day, Labor Day. We're here from this industrial complex in the 10th of Ramadan city, in particular in front of the complex and the industrial factory Higher Egypt that is eco-friendly, and it is a gift to all Egyptians celebrating Labor Day. It is a major industrial factory and it is a leap in industrial development. It emphasizes that the Egyptian worker is capable of achieving, in light of investment, serious projects working on the domestication and the localization of industries and technologies, as well as producing products to be exported. This factory, Higher Egypt, that would be inaugurated today by President Sisi in the 10th of Ramadan city, is the first eco-friendly factory, and it's considered to be the first company that uses the golden license. The golden license is one of the facilitations provided by the government, and in particular the General Authority for Free Zones and Investment, that provides maintenance, operation, construction, everything in one license. And this mega project was established on 2 phases, and now they are planning for a 3rd phase, so that they would receive the golden certificate and start operating it. And this shows the wise policies and the strong will on part of the government to support investment and work on creating a conducive environment for the Egyptian worker to produce in the new republic.
والآن مشاهدينا وصل السيد الرئيس عبد الفتاح
President Sisi arrives at the complex Higher Egypt, the eco-friendly industrial plant that produces the first product with the logo Made in Egypt on it.
السيد الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the President of the Republic.
السلام عليكم.
Peace be upon you. Take your seats, please.
بسم الله الرحمن
In the name
الرحيم.
of Allah, the most
السيد
merciful,
الرئيس
the
عبد
most
الفتاح السيسي
compassionate
رئيس
President Abdel
الجمهورية
Fattah Sisi, the
الحر
President
الكرام
of the Republic,
عمال مصر
distinguished
في
guests,
تاريخ مصر
workers
المعاصر
of
كان
Egypt.
وما
In
زال
the modern
عمال
history
مصر
of
قلب
Egypt,
النابض
the
وهو
Egyptian workers
الدفع
has
الذي لا
been
تتوقف
always the
ليس فقط نحو
momentum
إنتاجية
to more
وافقة آمال
productivity
وأرقام
and better
ولكن كعمود
performance, but
تقني
also
ومشارك
as the
فعلي
backbone
لتنمية
of
واستقرار
the
الوطن
development and
يستحق
the
ما يراه
prosperity of
وكل ما
this
يريد
country.
وإيمانا بذلك
And
الدور
due to
أصبح
the
عيد
belief in
العمال
this role,
مناسبة
Labor's Day
تحقيق
has
رمزية
become a
كبيرة
very
إذ
symbolic
يجسد
event
تضحية
that
وعطاء
symbolizes the
أيادي عمال
sacrifices
مصر
and the
العاملة
efforts of the
التي لا
Egyptian
تكل أبدا
workers
من
who
القيام
work
بدورها
relentlessly
لدفع
to
عجلة
play their role
الإنتاج
in
بعقول
supporting
نابضة
development
وسواعد فتية.
through
نقف
strong-willed. And
ونستهل
the better thing to start with this event is verses from the Holy Quran by the reciter Ahmed Tamim al-Maraghi.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات يهديهم ربهم بإيمانهم تجري من تحتهم الأنهار في جنات النعيم. دعواهم فيها سبحانك اللهم وتحيتهم فيها سلام. وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. صدق الله العظيم.
السيد الرئيس.
Your Excellency, the President, distinguished guests, the state realizes the important role of the workers in constructing the country, as they are the foundation of its renaissance, and they represent a cornerstone in the construction and the development process in all fields. Due to this principle, the Ministry of Manpower and Labor develops qualified calibers according to international working standards. The speech of the Minister of Labor, Mr. Hassan Shaheta. In the name of Allah, Your Excellency President Sisi, the President of the Republic, the devoted and dedicated workers of Egypt, distinguished guests, many happy returns. Mr. President, once more we meet today after a year where hope was mixed with efforts and construction. Once more we meet as a leader and the soldiers of production to celebrate Labor Day and to listen to the pledges of the Egyptian workers to continue work to finalize the construction of the new republic under your wise leadership. Once more we emphasize that we would go on implementing Your Excellency's directives to uphold the values of work and action in this country, and to build a conducive, decent working environment that strikes a balance between duties and responsibilities, in which both parties of the production, employers and employees, participate, to be a futile land for increasing development and construction in our new republic. Mr. President, the Ministry of Labor translated these directives on the ground over the previous 3 year through a number of measures in the field of developing labor legislations. We held a number of meetings for the Supreme Council for Social Dialogue with the representation of employers and employees to discuss a number of joint files like the project of the labor law and its draft, to agree upon a balanced law that would achieve more protection and more justice for the worker. And the field of reducing unemployment, the Ministry of Labor played an important role in this great accomplishment with all state institutions through establishing a number of meetings and employability events and coordination with the private sector companies to meet their needs for the vacant job opportunities, as well as creating job opportunities through workers' representation offices abroad to assist in increasing the employment rate, and implementing your directive to include people with disabilities in the labor market. The ministry and its directorates are implementing the policy of training and employability of people with disabilities. And to develop the vocational training system, we launched the Project 2030 to upgrade the qualifications and skills of youth up to the international level and meet the needs for the local and international labor markets through working in the different training courses and giving them licenses to provide training courses according to the provisions of the labor law, and accredit the trainers and their training programs and their certificates according to international standards, acknowledged with the aim of reaching 1 million accredited trainees per year. And on this occasion, we announced today launching 8 training units for mobile vocational training in different governorates to join the previous 27 that were launched, working within the initiative of Decent Life. To train the youth on the jobs needed in the labor market. We inaugurated a directing unit and developed the unit to serve the Egyptian expats to raise their awareness about their duties and rights before traveling to work abroad and the labor laws in the hosting countries, as well as providing decent opportunities to them and decent services within the protection and support of seasonal workers, as this is a file that was given unprecedented attention by the President. The ministry provides social and health services as well as training services in addition to licensing to them and providing occupational safety and health methods. And the total amount for social and health protection for the seasonal workers on the database of the ministry reached 812 million Egyptian pounds, and the total compensations in light of death reached 13 million Egyptian pounds. And we launched the platform for the seasonal workers, and it started operating in a number of governorates. And this platform targets providing services to seasonal workers electronically to facilitate the services of registering them and recording their data and information. And since January up till now, we held a lot of awareness seminars to workers and occupational safety and health services of about 6,000 seminars and symposiums. And the ministry is continuing inspecting all government and private utilities and facilities for occupational safety and health to secure the protection of equipment and workers and to reduce the incidents and accidents and injuries. At the level of protection and social protection for the workers and supporting the different establishments, the emergency fund for workers since the 1st of May 2023 up till now spent 29 million Egyptian pounds within the framework of the national role played by the fund to meet the needs of the workers whose companies face a number of challenges and difficulties and is unable to pay them their wages. And the ministry is keen on empowering women economically through rehabilitating them for the labor market and establishing small enterprises and raising their awareness about their rights at the production sites. The Ministry of Labor continues the plan of launching all services provided to workers and citizens on Egypt portal. within the framework of automation and digitization in light of the developments in the national and international labor markets. Your Excellency, the President, distinguished guests, at the end of my speech, I would like to extend to Your Excellency thanks and appreciation for everything you provided to your sons, the workers, the support and the attention, and directing us to protect and develop them and their skills and extend social and health protection programs to cover them all and increase the minimum wages and expand those targeted by Decent Life Initiative. Mr. President, the Ministry of Labor is continuing its work to implement the directives and the initiatives according to your wise leadership to support Egyptian workers, and the Ministry will continue developing its needed projects, programs and plans to support the Egyptian workers in the new republic. Peace be upon you. In a world led by work and persistence to achieve progress, there are hands that achieve hope and build the future, so they deserve a day to honor them, those who work for the prosperity of our country. In our new republic, the state is keen on enhancing the work relations according to international standards. In 2023, we changed the name of the ministry from the Ministry of Manpower to the Ministry of Labor. And in continuation of the effective role played by the ministry implements the draft labor law to achieve more security for workers and to encourage investments. Implementing the directives of the President, the Ministry of Labor launched a program 2030 that symbolizes the cooperation between the private sector and the public sector that attracted 900 vocational training centers from all governorates. And this short period, they provided 100 licenses to 100 of them to train 1 million trainees per year to qualify them and develop their skills to meet the needs of the national and international labor markets and to provide the graduates with certificates. And we will announce 100,000 graduates next month from this program. And the ministry is continuing its plan to develop its vocational training program through 20 mobile training centers, in addition to signing a number of cooperation protocols with the partners of development and work, and free scholarships were provided to train 300 students in Silesian, in Alexandria and Cairo. And the Ministry of Labor is working with all state institutions to limit unemployment that reduced from 13% in 2014 to be 6.9% in 2024. Thanks to the mega national projects in every part of Egypt. Our sons and daughters, people with disabilities, were a top priority for the ministry. It provided them with 14,000 job opportunities since the beginning of the year 2023. And the ministry also has 9 workers' representation offices abroad to protect the rights of 5 million workers working abroad and provides decent jobs to them abroad. And through the directives of the President, the social protection programs are going on, and the emergency fund was established since 2002, has given about 2,217,000,000 donations and grants to 430,000 workers in 3,850 establishments, in addition to the continuous support of seasonal workers through 6 annual grants. And the ministry continues its efforts to work on economic empowerment of women. With effort and work on this kind land, the state is trying to achieve a better future for Egyptian workers, and the achievements of the ministry continues to play its role and continue in drafting a decent working environment under the light of the new republic built by the workers of Egypt.
العمل حيوا العمل طول ما احنا ايد في ايد هيفضل في امل ونلاقي حلم بلادنا بايدينا اكتمل حيوا العمل حيوا العمل خلوا المكان يفضل يدور خليك كده بشغلك فخور بايدينا نملى الدنيا نور شق الجبل ونحط في صف عمال بلدنا من زمان شغل وتعب صبر وإيمان إنتاجي روح مليون مكان مكتوب عليه مصنع في مصر حيوا العمل حيوا العمل طول ما احنا ايد في ايد هيفضل في امل هنلاقي حلم بلادنا بايدينا اكتمل حيوا العمل حيوا العمل
السيد الرئيس
Your Excellency, the President, distinguished guests, the state is keen on attracting more foreign investments and share experiences with pioneer companies in different fields, in particular industry. And now the speech of Mr. Song Yoo-jun, Deputy Executive Director of Haier Group.
Mr. Song Yoo-jun.
特命全权大使廖立强先生，各位来宾、女士们、先生们，大家上午好。我代表海尔集团向今天出席海尔埃及生态园启航仪式的各位嘉宾朋友表示热烈的欢迎和衷心的感谢。今天，尊敬的埃及总统阿卜杜拉·法塔赫·塞西阁下，中国驻埃及大使廖立强先生在百忙之中莅临现场。中埃紧密合作的关系，让埃及生态园项目得到了两国政府的重视与支持，是项目快速起航的坚强后盾。海尔埃及生态园项目是海尔海外建设最快的项目之一。中东非是海尔全球布局的重要板块，今天的起航将是埃及和中东非区域新征程的一个开端。作为海尔在中东非的首个数字孪生工业园区，在埃及政府的支持下，埃及生态园取得黄金许可证。利用黄金许可证一站式的服务优势，海尔埃及生态园从奠基到首样下线仅用不到1年时间，实现最短时间获得黄金许可证、最快开工、最快投产的突破，成为海尔海外建设最快的项目之一。海尔埃及生态园致力于成为埃及最领先的家电制造企业。项目总投资1.35亿美元，一期空调、洗衣机、电视总产能近100万台，为当地创造3000多个就业岗位。海尔引领的智能制造技术，不仅让我们成为埃及首家智能制造企业，更将为当地培养大批优秀的管理和制造人才。海尔埃及生态园致力于成为区域家电制造中心。海尔是一个全球性公司，海尔最领先的技术及智能制造资源，可铸就海尔家电全产业链智能升级。埃及生态园不仅能够快速满足本土需求，还能覆盖中东、北非、东南非及欧洲市场，助力埃及制造走出埃及，走向世界。最后，再一次对参加本次埃及生态园启航仪式 暨5·1国际劳动节庆祝活动的中埃政府和各位嘉宾表示衷心的感谢，对为项目建设做大量工作的伙伴、同事、朋友们表示衷心的感谢。祝大家5·1劳动节快乐！谢谢大家，舒克尔。我仅代表个人和海尔集团，向尊敬的总统阁下赠送纪念礼品。
حلمنا كل يوم بيكبر وبنرسم طريق جديد للتنمية الصناعية
to industrial development through different industrial complexes in every part of Egypt that provide the thousands of job opportunities in government and private sectors. With the hands of 30 million Egyptian workers, we are able to achieve our dream through industrial renaissance. Since day one, the political leadership emphasized the importance of achieving industrial renaissance. The biggest goal is industry to cover the needs of the Egyptian market and take us from consumption to production. And immediately we mobilized all our resources to build for the industries, and we established more than 17 industrial complexes in 15 governorates. And we were able to develop the strategic industries, and we succeeded in making the logo made in Egypt in international markets. And the industrial sector was able to contribute by 16.8% of the GDP. And to achieve our industrial renaissance, we focused on the Egyptian worker through training them and rehabilitating them, on keeping pace with the developments in industrial machines and equipment through launching 34 training centers and implementing 867 training programs. And the industrial sector in Egypt was able to provide 7.5 million job opportunities in 10 years. And the industrial development is continuing, and every day it achieves a new stride with the objective of getting Egypt back on the map of industry in the world. The story starts with one of the most important industrial complexes in Egypt, Higher Egypt, that is eco-friendly in the 10th of Ramadan city, the fruit of cooperation and industrial partnership with Higher, the Chinese company that is the first internationally for 15 successive years regarding the production of home appliances, as it has 35 industrial complexes, 130 industrial centers in 200 countries worldwide through more than 230,000 selling points. The Higher industrial complex was constructed on 200,000 meters square with a total investment of $135 million, and today we'll inaugurate the first phase of Higher industrial complex in Egypt that has 4 factories with total investments of $85 million, a factory for producing air conditioners, the central and the domestic, using the most modern machines and equipments that manufacture all components of the air conditioner with Egyptian hands and international quality. And the complex also has a factory that produces washing machines according to modern technologies in the field of washing machines industry. In addition to a factory for televisions and different types, with high quality.
وأخيرا
And finally, a factory for metals
وحقن البلاستيك والدهانات
and paints and plastic
وذلك للتحكم في الجودة
to control the quality of the production, to have a high quality product at an affordable price.
بيوفر مجمع هاير مصر
Higher Complex provides 3,000 direct job opportunities after training them and developing their skills according to electronic modern systems. And it's expected to implement the second phase of the complex to produce a number of electronic appliances with a total of investments of 15 million US dollars.
مجمع هاير مصر
Higher Industrial Complex for Electronics produces Egyptian high-quality, competitive prices products, a success story for an industrial complex.
قلاع ومدن صناعية عملاقة
Industrial complexes and cities established in all Egyptian governorates that provided thousands of job opportunities to our youth and opened the way to hope to achieve our dream
في نهضة صناعية
in an industrial renaissance.
السيد الرئيس
Mr. President, distinguished guests, the history has always remembered how Egyptians loved work. Thus, we see all these achievements made by our grandfathers in all fields after they were equipped with knowledge, information, will, and strength. The speech of the General Federation of the Egyptian Trade Unions, Mr. Mohammed Gobran.
بسم الله الرحمن
In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, a verse from the Holy Quran, you work as it would be witnessed by God, His Prophet, and His followers. Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi,
السادة الحضور
distinguished guests, in the name of millions of workers, I would like to send congratulations for the president after he won a new presidency, after they took to the polling stations to renew their pledge and emphasize that they are standing behind Your Excellency to construct and build the new republic. After your success, thanks to Allah in eliminating terrorism and developing the state. We believe that the construction of states won't happen overnight, but it needs time and effort, patience and planning. We always have hope for a better future promising to us and the coming generations, and we would never lose such a hope, whatever the challenges. This is our hope and our confidence in Egypt that it's on its right way under the leadership of Your Excellency. The volume of challenges are realized by the devoted workers of Egypt and the Egyptian Great Army that saved under your wise leadership the Egyptian state from the powers of evil and darkness. I would like to send greetings to the Egyptian police also, who defended the country against those who tried to change the identity of this country and tried to spread destruction. Mr. President, the workers of Egypt are standing by you, supporting Egypt's strong stance, supporting the Palestinians in all forms and the right of the Palestinians to have a Palestinian state, and they are against the ferocious practices as well as the genocide against them. Your Excellency the President, we are trying to turn your discourse last Labour's Day in our methodology. We thank you for everything that was achieved through establishing a number of industrial establishments, and we hope that the rest of the project will be finalized to assimilate millions of workers. Thank you, the President, for supporting the private sector and attracting foreign investments to construct labor-intensive projects and to domesticate projects, as well as increase the local component to support the national industries like the spinning and weaving factory with a cost of 2 billion Egyptian pounds, so that Egypt again would be a pioneer in this field. Mr. President, Egyptian workers extend to you thanks and appreciation for issuing the social package that would reduce and alleviate the burden of inflation that is hitting the whole world through increasing the minimum wage to be 6,000 Egyptian pounds. Mr. President, Egyptian workers wish that the new labor law would be issued to achieve stability in the labor market and achieve the balance needed between the workers' rights and the rights of employers. That would lead to supporting production. Your Excellency, the President, you have always met your promises to the Egyptian workers, and you have always supported them and their rights, and supported all their achievements over the previous years. So the Egyptian workers are all united to stand to support construction and development in the new republic in light of the wars and disturbances in the region. Your Excellency has always stood against all attempts of the evil powers to destabilize the country, and you protected the Egyptian national security under your wise leadership. We pledge to exert more efforts to continue to gather the path of construction and development, so Egypt would enjoy welfare and stability under your leadership. We pray Allah to keep you, to help you also achieve its hopes. May you always be our leader. Let me, Mr. President, extend in my name and in the name of the Egyptian Federation for Trade Unions to provide you with this trophy. Mr. President, distinguished guests, the initiative START aims at achieving the biggest number of industrial projects with an added value, in addition to empowering the private sector to support the state efforts to create strong economic entities. The speech of Engineer Mahmoud Shukri, the Director of Projects in the National Initiative for Developing Egyptian Industries, IBDA, START. Good morning, Your Excellency. Many happy returns to Your Excellency and to all Egyptian workers. Now we review the current status of the National Initiative for Domesticating the Egyptian Industry. Over the previous 2 years, we worked on 84 industrial opportunities. We were able to turn 23 of them into existing partnerships. Some of them started production and others under construction. And in the second phase of EBDA, we will have 37 industrial opportunities. The investment cost of the first phase was 62 billion Egyptian pounds. And the investment cost is as such. And for people to imagine with us how huge this figure is, it represents 28% of the total investments in the industrial sector over the past 3 years. EBDA finances its project through 3 main methods. EBDA with businessmen by 49%, foreign direct investments to 5%, in addition to 46% in investments and funding from international institutions. We were able to to do this in a short period because we seized the competitive edge we have and built on what achieved by the state in the past 10 years. And we developed the infrastructure, development of ports, qualified workers. EBDA did not start with a production line and establishments, but we focused mainly on the industrial system more comprehensively to deal with the different challenges we faced with industrialists. These challenges are not procedural only, but they were rather the labor and the market mechanisms and incomplete ideas, challenges in managing the industrial establishments, and the biggest challenge is always the funding. We developed our philosophy and we thought out of the box, and we took a number of projects in the first phase and we pumped them in a direct funding fund. And now we will launch Nile Industrial Direct Investment Fund, the first of its type for industrial investment in Egypt. And the first issuance would be for 2.5 million Egyptian pounds, and the fund would be listed in the Egyptian stock market for full transparency for all investors. And we call on all investors and Egyptian businessmen, Egyptian banks and financial institutions and even individuals to invest in this fund. The fund would be the link between all stakeholders to achieve investment return. The team started working on the ground already, and it is a team between EBDA and Cairo Capital for capital investments. And we pumped 100 million Egyptian pounds, and the maximum is 500 million Egyptian pounds. We are targeting all industrial activities, giving the priority to all projects that would reduce the exports bill. And after the success of the first edition, we will have a second and a third edition. Now we will present 4 examples of EBDA projects through video conference in partnership with EBDA or a project supported by EBDA. Mr. Mohammed Wafai, the automotive factory. Good morning. Today we are in the factory of the engines. This is the first of its type in Africa and the Middle East. We are celebrating today the production of the first Egyptian engine. The factory is over 13,000 meters square with a total investment cost 330 million Egyptian pounds. The production capacity is 250,000 engines annually. 70% of the components of the engine are local components, and we transferred the technology of manufacturing the engine from the Chinese side to the Egyptian side, and we trained all the Egyptian workers on all phases of production, and they are 5. And the engine succeeded in all the quality exams according to Chinese and international standards. We would like to tell Your Excellency many happy returns to you and to all Egyptian workers. Thank you. Thank you, Mohammed. Nova engine for the components of water and wastewater stations. Engineer Ahmed Kamal Mouawad. Good morning, Your Excellency. Now we are in Nova Industrial Development Factory, and the factory is operating by 100%. We contracted with international companies specialized in producing the components of water and wastewater plants. And we are capable now of producing these components locally. These components are filters, gates, drying of sludge, different ventilation systems. So Nova is a distinguished factory in Africa and the Middle East. The investment cost is 800 million Egyptian pounds, and it provides 300 job opportunities. And its production capacity is 150 tons monthly. These components used to be imported, and now the factory is capable of meeting the needs of the local market. In addition to that, we are targeting to allocate 30% of its production for exports so that it can provide hard currency. Thank you, Your Excellency. Fantasia factory for producing sponge and also hotel furniture. Good morning. We are in Fantasia. We started from zero in the Qahliya Governorate, the industrial zone, Gamasa, to produce sponge products and hotel furnishing, and we were able also to produce the feeding materials for our industry, and we are manufacturing now for foreign countries. Fantasia now is over 15,000 meters square. It has 400 workers with a production capacity 22,000 tons annually, with an investment cost 200 million Egyptian pounds. The local component in our products now is 30%, and we want to increase it to reach 70%. And we were supported through IBDA initiative. They allocated to us a new plot of land for the future expansion to produce the raw material, so that we would stop importing 150 million tons of raw materials, in addition to the facilitation of all government procedures. Thank you, Your Excellency. Many happy returns to you and to all Egyptian workers. Thank you, Mr. President. Angeline, East Egypt, for Vital Technology, Mr. Louis Jean.
尊敬的阿拉伯埃及共和国总统阿卜杜拉·法塔赫·塞西阁下，尊敬的大使阁下，各位来宾、女士们、先生们，受安琪集团董事长熊涛的委托，今天我非常荣幸地代表安琪酵母埃及有限公司参加此次活动。 感谢总统阁下和各位领导对安琪酵母的认可和支持。安琪酵母始创于1986年，总部位于湖北省宜昌市，主要经营酵母衍生物、合成生物及其茶叶等相关生物科技领域的开发、生产、经营。历经30多年的发展，我们在全球已建设成16个现代化的生产基地，打造了12个技术中心，产品供应160多个国家和地区。 基于埃及独特的区位优势和良好的投资环境，2010年3月，安琪在埃及成立第一家境外子公司。我们在开罗和班尼苏维夫分别设立了技术中心和工厂，其中工厂占地面积12万平方米，总投资超过2.5亿美元。2024年年底，工厂产能将达到6万吨，埃及员工人数将超过1000名，成为埃及在 全球规模最大的生产的基地，我们在埃及当地的原料采购比例高达90%。一方面，我们全面满足埃及国内市场酵母的供应，降低进口需求；另一方面，我们依托埃及出口优势开展出口贸易。现在我们80%的产能都用于出口。借此机会，我们要感谢埃及各级政府以及 IBDA 对安琪酵母埃及有限公司长期以来的支持和帮助。我们也诚挚地邀请总统阁下以及各位领导莅临安琪酵母埃及有限公司指导工作。谢谢总统阁下，谢谢廖立强大使，谢谢大家。Shukran Yamas。
And finally, we would like to extend thanks to Your Excellency for supporting us and the initiative. Thank you, Your Excellency. In appreciation to the role of the Egyptian workers in construction and development, the political leadership is keen on honoring them as they are the real wealth upon which Egypt depends in achieving prosperity and development. We would like to invite President Sisi, the President of the Republic, to honor a number of workers who enriched the trade unions and the workers' life in Egypt. Mahmoud Hilmi Ragab Murshid. He established the Trade Union Committee in Al Amal for Petroleum Company, and he presided over it until he retired.
احنا رايحين فين حلم المصري واحلمنا وسعينا ومشينا
عادل مضني
عادل نظمي علي حسن. He worked as an advisor for human resources and training in the holding company for electricity, and he's an example of devotion.
حكاية شباب ده الصبر وتحمل وبيكمل يقع ويقوم في ليلة ويوم ويبدأ تاني من الأول ومهما يشوف لا يعرف خوف ولا استسلام.
عبد العظيم أحمد عبد العظيم مصطفى, the head of the trade union in the Egyptian Company for Civil Services and member of the General Aviation Federation.
المرحوم محمد عبد الفتاح محمد عرابي
Late Muhammad Ayman al-Arabi, and his son Ayman would receive it on his behalf, and he was, the late was the member of the trade union in al-Sharqiyya. May he rest in peace.
المرحوم محمد
Late Muhammad Iman Nu'man Mutama, and his daughter Sally would receive it on his behalf, the head of the trade union of Helwan workers, and he has worked in Egypt for spinning industries as a manager of industrial safety.
المرحوم
Late Izzat Hussein Abdel Nabi Hussein, and his daughter Marwa would receive it on his behalf. He was the head of the trade union for irrigation and fisheries. He worked in the Egyptian Agricultural Authority and served the trade union. Magdi Mahmoud Mursi Mahmoud, the Secretary General of the Trade Union of Television. He was a trainer for a lot of workers on collective bargaining. عبد الباقي Muhammad Ibrahim. He has a prominent role in the field of trade unions, and he was responsible for economic affairs in the Trade Unions Federation.
عارفين احنا رايحين فين
واحلمنا وسعينا ومشينا وراه وهيكمل بإذن الله وبشغل ودعاء الملايين.
ماشيين الطريق ماشيين وعشان مصر متفقين لو يقابلنا نعدي عارفين احنا رايحين فين. ماشيين الطريق ماشيين وعشان مصر متفقين لو يقابلنا نعدي عارفين احنا رايحين.
منى السيد حبيب, the first woman at the level of trade unions, and she is the Secretary General of the General Trade Union for Health Sciences. Wala Farag Atallah Hussain, the Secretary General of the Trade Union for Land Transport, and she represented women in the regional meeting for youth committees in Tunisia. رحاب علي حسن علي. She has always struggled since 2010 as a professional driver. Mustafa Muhammad Mustafa Abdul Wahab, the Secretary General of the Fund for the Trade Union of Chemicals. He is well disciplined and dedicated. Ahmed Muhammad Ahmed Zahran, and he is well qualified, a devoted worker. Hassan Abdurrauf Abdurrahman Hassan, worker with disability. He is well qualified and devoted. And now the speech of His Excellency the President. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. The great people of Egypt, brothers and sisters, the workers of Egypt, peace be upon you. Let me, while celebrating today Labor's Day, extend appreciation to every Egyptian hand that plants hope, creates a decent life, and builds for the present and the future for modern advanced Egypt that is moving today towards starting to build its industrial foundation that wouldn't have been achieved without the enormous effort exerted by the workers of Egypt through reconstructing the infrastructure everywhere in Egypt to be the foundation for the economic development in all fields, in particular the industrial. I was honored to be here today with you, the workers of Egypt, in this industrial complex that symbolizes that your hands and arms are the hope of this country in building a future up to its great history, and will always hold on to protecting the rights of Egyptian workers. And the state would continue working side by side with the efforts of our honorable workers and the employers to increase the employment rates and to enhance the social protection programs and increase the levels of wages, pledging to continue this method by exerting all efforts to face inflation and reduce the increasing prices. Workers of Egypt, the devoted workers of Egypt, your day to day shows the best values, the value of work that has always been throughout history the basis of development in Egypt. And since day one, I was keen on enhancing dialogue between different parties to study methods of dealing with challenges facing establishing a decent, appropriate work environment. I directed the Supreme Council for Social Dialogue in the field of labor to hold more discussions with the three parties, the workers, the employers, and the government, to discuss different issues and legislations and laws pertaining to work and labor and workers, like the draft labor bill, to secure that it would achieve this balance between workers, employers, and to protect the rights of the workers. In addition, and due to my belief in the importance of cooperation to provide a decent life for all segments of the society, at the heart of which is the workers, I gave the following directives: finalizing, discussing the draft labor bill in the Supreme Council for Social Dialogue and inviting the Parliament to discuss the draft bill as soon as possible, paving the way for its promulgation, as well as increasing the minimum level of donations given from 600 Egyptian pounds to 1,000 Egyptian pounds as a minimum for the workers. Dr. Mustafa, we need to make this fund receive more funding. I was asking Dr. Mustafa, while the Minister of Labor was speaking about the value in this fund, because the more it has, the more would be able to give more donations. So what do you think, Dr. Mustafa? The microphone is there. The current figure, because the fund, since it was established, we have been working on its development, and its account is not in the Central Bank of Egypt. He can put it in commercial banks and receive return. And during COVID-19, you gave directives to give the seasonal workers amounts. It was the fund that was able to pay these amounts. And also during the problem with tourism, it supported the hotels and the different touristic establishments. And because of Gaza and its impact on a number of establishments in South Sinai, the figure has now reached 8 billion Egyptian pounds, and it is the fund that spends, but of course we can increase it further. Increasing the minimum from 600 Egyptian pounds to 1,000 Egyptian pounds. We need to increase the sum in this fund so that the more there is in this fund, the more is my opportunity to support seasonal workers and help them during the difficulties and challenges. The biggest the sum, the best it is. 5 billion. Thank you.
طب وال1000 دول هنزودهم ولا ايه بقى؟
And are we going to increase this 1,000?
تؤمر بيه يا فندم نخليهم اكتر يعني لان طبعا 1000 حتى دلوقتي تعتبر رقم
1,000 is considered to be a small number. 1,500. Let it be 1,500.
نقترح 1500 حضرتك.
Okay, 1,500. Thank you very much.
شكرا جزيلا.
Thank you very much.
قيام وزارة العمل بتعظيم
The Ministry of Labor is developing its role in developing human capital to meet the needs of the labor market internally and externally, and develop the vocational training system to provide the Egyptian skilled workers and benefit from the experiences of the private sector in this context. Establishing an integrated training center to train the youth on the needed skills for the labor market according to international standards, so that this center would attract those who want to work in Egypt and regionally. Working on looking at the jobs of the future and the needs for these jobs. The Ministry of Labor developed a national integrated strategy to work on disseminating the culture of safety and occupational health and providing a good working environment between employers and employees to secure the rights of everyone, workers, employers, public, and raising the awareness of the employers on occupational safety and health. Working on increasing the employment rate of people with disabilities and incorporating them in the labor market, as well as increasing women employment and empowering them so that they would be able to strike a balance between their family responsibilities and their job responsibilities. Protecting the workers legally through increasing inspection on different establishments to enforce the minimum wages and the provisions of the Egyptian labor market and labor law. The great people of Egypt and the Egyptian workers, we have faced a lot of challenges over the previous years, and our country wouldn't have been able to overcome them without your sacrifices. That would be always remembered by history as a part of our story to build an independent, strong, advanced, modern state that appreciates its devoted sons. To you, the great workers of Egypt, deep appreciation and respect. Many happy returns to you all, and may Egypt always enjoy prosperity and always long live Egypt. And peace and blessing of Allah be upon you all.
السلام الوطني.
The national anthem.
فرد فرد، للي بيصنع في مصنع واللي بيزرع في أرض. تعظيم سلام يا بلدي لولادك فرد فرد، للي بيصنع في مصنع واللي بيزرع في أرض. للجندي اللي في ميدانك واللي بيرفع أذانك، للجندي اللي في ميدانك واللي بيرفع أذانك، واللي انت يا بلدي عنده صلاته فرد فرد، واللي انت يا بلدي عنده صلاته فرد فرد. راجل من ظهر راجل، المصري مش كلام، والكل مصري راجل مليون تعظيم سلام. تعظيم سلام لناسك في كل بيت وحي، والخير على ايد ولادك يا بلدي جاي جاي. تعظيم سلام لناسك في كل بيت وحي، والخير على ايد ولادك يا بلدي جاي جاي. اللي انتي نور عينيهم اتباهي يا مصري بيهم، اللي انتي نور عينيهم اتباهي يا مصري بيهم، وناديهم هتلاقيهم ده جاي وغيره جاي، وناديهم هتلاقيهم ده جاي وغيره جاي. راجل من ظهر راجل، المصري مش كلام، والكل مصري راجل مليون تعظيم سلام. راجل من ظهر راجل، المصري مش كلام، والكل مصري راجل مليون تعظيم سلام.
Allez, de retour au studio après cette couverture donc médiatique de la tournée du président Abdel Fattah Sisi dans différents points donc dans la ville du 10 du Ramadan. Vous avez vu qu'une conférence donc a été donnée à l'occasion de la journée de la fête du travail, la journée des travailleurs telle qu'elle est nommée ici en Égypte. Alors le président Abdel Fattah Sisi a salué toutes les mains qui construisent le présent et l'avenir d'une Égypte moderne. Il a ajouté lors de son discours que l'État préservera toujours les droits des ouvriers égyptiens. Le chef de l'État a fait sa déclaration en assistant ce jeudi donc à une cérémonie organisée à la cité du 10 Ramadan à l'occasion de la fête du travail tenue au siège du complexe d'usines AR, Amis de l'environnement. Ainsi, s'est indiqué avoir renforcé le dialogue entre les différentes parties en vue de garantir un environnement sain de travail. Il a ajouté avoir donné ses directives pour parachever la loi du travail le plus rapidement possible. Lors de cette cérémonie, le chef de l'État a honoré plusieurs ouvriers égyptiens. Le vice-président exécutif de la société a prononcé un mot de circonstance, ainsi que les présidents ou le président de l'Union des syndicats égyptiens. Alors, il faut savoir également que le président Abdel Fattah Sisi a saisi l'occasion pour honorer plusieurs ouvriers donc à l'occasion de cette journée de la fête du travail. Et pour nous parler de cette journée et de la cérémonie, nous avons par téléphone Dr Mustafa Reda, expert en économie, pour nous parler de cette journée du travail. Bonjour.
Bonjour à vous.
Alors justement, nous venons de voir cette transmission en direct du discours du président Abdel Fattah Sisi où il a tenu à remercier, honorer les ouvriers d'Égypte. il faut dire que c'est vrai que durant cette dernière décennie, l'Égypte a entrepris différents projets d'infrastructure. Nous avons eu besoin de beaucoup de main-d'œuvre qui a répondu présente donc à tous ces projets qui ont été entrepris par l'État. Principalement la nouvelle capitale. C'est vrai que